You might have to bear with me a little bit here. This is a little new for me and probably a little new for you too. This is the 11th year, I believe, that I've been making these videos, and this is the very first one that I have made during the regular season, of course, where I already have the knowledge that the Bills are going to the playoffs. Of course, there was a preview video for the wild card game in 2017 when the Bills broke the drought. There will be a preview for the wild card game this season, but this is the first regular season preview video that I have made going in with the knowledge that the Bills are going to make the playoffs. So, like, there's just a couple different things that I can talk about that I really haven't been able to talk about, like playoff opponents. I can talk about, like, who do we prefer to play in the playoffs? Is the division still within reach? We'll talk about that. Obviously, the Bills play the Patriots this week. I'm not entirely sure how realistic the division is going to be because the Patriots have to lose 2 at home. The Bills obviously have to win 2, including them this Saturday. But for now, the Bills get to 10 wins for the first time since 1999. They are in the playoffs, guys. They beat the Steelers on Sunday Night Football 17-10. They clinch. I believe they might have clinched at least the 5 seed. I don't know that for a fact. I haven't played around with the playoff machine enough, but I believe they've clinched at least the 5 seed because now Pittsburgh is 8-6. Tennessee fell to 8-6. A lot of things went right for the Bills before they even played on Sunday. Obviously, Houston beats Tennessee. That was slightly preferable because the Bills had beat Tennessee, so if they ended up in the wild card tiebreaker with Tennessee, they would have that. Cleveland gets eliminated. Oakland gets eliminated. So a lot of the things are going correctly for the Bills before they even go into the game. But the opportunity to clinch on national TV to let people know, hey, we're a playoff team. I mean, you just love to see it, right? You love to see it. And it wasn't the prettiest game by any means. I'm looking at the combined stats here. This is combined between both teams, the Bills and Steelers. 32 first downs for a combined 490 total yards, 6 fumbles, 2 lost, 7 turnovers, 14 penalties, 5 sacks, a combined 341 passing yards. Wasn't pretty, but you know what was pretty is the Bills on defense all day. It was Tre'Davious White's coming out party. He was rewarded this week by going to the Pro Bowl. I don't put too much stock into the Pro Bowl. I do think Jordan Phillips being a 4th alternate with 9.5 sacks is a bit of a joke. He was terrific again on Sunday night. Milano and Edmonds were terrific. I really liked Taron Johnson's game on Sunday. Everybody was good. Shaq Lawson was good again. I couldn't tell you who was bad. I mean, the Bills only allowed 10 points. They picked off Devin Hodges 4 times. A guy who was really only in the game that, Tomlin had said early in the year that Rudolph was benched for Hodges because Hodges doesn't kill them. And Devlin Hodges killed them. He wasn't good. I mean, what did he finish? 23 of 38, I believe, 202 yards, a touchdown, 4 picks, 4 sacks. The guy, he wasn't good for them. He killed them. He killed them on Sunday night. They had plenty of chances to get back into that game. They had the ball twice, basically, inside 2 minutes with a chance to tie, and he threw a pick both times. He killed them, and obviously there's some credit due to the Bills' defense for that. It's just the way, I think what makes a lot of fans nervous, really, is the way the Bills lean on their defense like that. I'm sitting there watching the game with a couple of friends and like, man, I feel bad for this defense because they are really keeping the Bills in this game. The offense can't stretch a lead or anything. But the Bills sort of play their offense around the strength of their defense, and that might get you beat sometimes. It probably has got them beat at times. But the defense is just so good. Like, McDermott is just daring, absolutely daring Devlin Hodges to beat him, and he knows he can't. So he can play that conservative offense and not really have to worry. I mean, the Bills got that interception from Trey White that, was 18 yards away from being a pick 6, and they ran the ball 6 times. They didn't even try for the end zone, and they kicked the field goal, and they tied the game. I think that is McDermott sort of almost flexing on them. And, a lot of fans didn't like the play calling. They didn't like Frank Gore being in the game so much because it's so obvious that they're going to run. And, there's reason to talk about that. I will listen to those arguments because, it doesn't even have to be an argument. I'll just listen to that point because obviously you'd like to see the Bills just stretch a lead, just win by 2 scores here and there against teams that aren't as good as you or a guy who's going to throw the ball to you nonstop. But I don't think they were ever threatened. The Steelers got to 10 points, and there was really nothing that was in me thinking, like, they're going to get to 20 here, guys. Like, no, I think the Bills are, like, thinking themselves like, oh, all we have to do is really tie this game up. We'll win this game. We just got to, make a couple drives here and there. And they did. I think in the second half, I looked it up. I believe the Bills only completed 3 or 4 passes after going down 10-7. 3 or 4. They completed 1 to Brown on third down, big third down throw to Brown for 20 yards. Again, John Brown, unbelievable. I would take a bullet for John Brown. The guy is just the type of player that Josh was missing last year. This offense has been missing. Like, is there an argument to be made that John Brown is like the team MVP? I think he is a team MVP. There's so much different without him. Cole Beasley, obviously I want to give him a little bit of credit as well. Only had 1 catch for 6 or 8 yards this past Sunday, but credit where it's due. But this is a John Brown point. He caught 2 of the 3 or 4 completions in the second half. 1 for 20, 1 for 40, and then the touchdown to Croft. And I think there was like a screen to Singletary that went for 1 yard in there or something. Like, that's all. Like, that just goes to show you the Bills really did think they were made. And they kind of were. Because they only had to complete 3 or 4 passes to win the game. And they're losing 10-7 in the second half. So, kudos to the defense. I wasn't in love with the offense, obviously, for most of the game. Allen throws for 139 yards. 99 of those to John Brown, again, the MVP. Singletary was good, 87 rushing yards. And what was I going to say on Singletary? Oh, the fumbling, though. I guess that was the one thing, is the fumbling. Like, what did we talk about last week? The one thing you can't do to the Steelers, against the Steelers, is give them the ball. And I was super impressed. TJ Watt, crazy with the punches. Forced 2 of them, and like the Bills are pretty lucky to get on the one that they, I believe, ended up taking the lead on. I think it was like on first down. Singletary fumbled and John Brown recovered it. 2 plays later, they scored the game-winning touchdown. Like there's a little bit of luck involved there for sure. But if you don't fumble, although I guess the fumbles kind of went both ways because the Steelers fumbled in the red zone, the Bills fumbled on their way to the red zone with Singletary there. So I guess that maybe those kind of even themselves out. But like I said, the only thing you don't want to do is give the Steelers extra possessions like that. Because that's what they're good at. That's how they've been winning these games, these one-score close games. And the interception from Allen, I saw a lot of people on Twitter blaming Allen, a lot of people blaming Beasley. I think it's more on Beasley than it is on Allen. I do think Allen threw some really high throws. Like, he was off target a lot on Sunday night. He sailed one over Beasley's head that was like a free 7 yards. The interception was a little bit high, but it did hit Beasley in the hands. He probably should have caught it. I thought he maybe kind of tucked, trying to get, not get hit that hard over the middle, which I understand to a point, but it cost them a possession there. All in all, I can't complain too much because the defense was tremendous. They look like a really good playoff defense, and the offense continues to do enough. They had 17 points. I think I saw a stat this past week. Like Josh Allen, in 1/3 of Josh Allen's wins as the Bills quarterback, the Bills have scored 17 or fewer points, which is just goes to show you how good the defense has been. Anyway, what do we know? We know the Bills are going to the playoffs. We don't know who they're going to play. Here are kind of your options. It's looking like it's really angling towards Houston right now. However, Houston does have the tiebreaker with Kansas City by virtue of beating them earlier this year. So if Houston were able to tie Kansas City in record, they would jump them. So it could be Kansas City. Houston or Kansas City feel like the most obvious right now. I think the only other 2 teams that are possible are Tennessee, if they come back and take the division. And technically New England is possible, but very not probable. I think the Bills would have to win this week and then lose. And then New England would also have to, and then lose to the Jets. New England would also have to lose to Miami, and there would have to be a couple other losses by other teams. It just does not seem likely. It could be New England. I don't think it's going to be New England. This is, again, if they are the wild card team. Kansas City or Houston seems most likely. They could win the division. They could beat the Patriots on Saturday, Saturday Night Football. They could beat the Patriots, tie them in record at 11-4. They could beat the Jets to go to 12-4, and then New England would have to lose at home in back-to-back weeks to Miami. So I'm not really counting on that. One thing I saw, I did see, and it was from Mike Shope on WGR, is that what the Bills maybe should be more focused on in these past couple weeks is and I like this thought, is throwing off their tendencies and their percentages of what they do, maybe very vanilla game plans or things that are really hard to scheme against, or you know, that you have to spend a lot of time scheming for, but you don't really run, or you know, it's inconsequential to the game, or you know, to your game plan or whatever, what have you. Just show that you might do some things that you're just not even planning on doing. I know that New England does that, and the Bills have been getting a little bit of credit lately for doing some New England things with their offense, and that almost definitely stems from Brian Daboll. What I am most impressed about, really, from the Bills this year, I guess this whole year, is their forward thinking. It seems like they pay attention to analytics. The perfect example, going for it on 4th and 6 this past week against the Steelers, and they get it and they end up scoring the touchdown later on in the drive. I know that there was a stat was up there that the Bills were like 0-7 on 4th and 2 this year. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's still the right play there around the 37-ish yard line. Don't take a delay a game and punt. Just go for it. The league gives you 4 downs to get 10 yards, and teams constantly just give up on one of them. Nope, sorry, you can't take that risk. Take the risk. You're on their side of the field. Anyway, the Bills have paid attention to that this year. Really makes me optimistic for the future. But this week, you know, the Patriots kind of got me started on that. Obviously, the Patriots, very good at home, haven't been very good lately, especially Tom Brady himself. You know, Tom Brady in his last 4 games here, let me see, I'm pulling it up right now. 128 passing yards, 169 passing yards, 326 against Houston. A lot of that was kind of garbage time. Like, they were pretty well beat in that game. And then 190 at home against Dallas the week before that. He does have 7 touchdowns versus 2 interceptions, but like his completion percentage is low. He has the worst completion percentage in the league since week 12. Those were the last 4 games. His QBR is like 28th or something like that. His yards per attempt is 2nd to last. I mean, he hasn't been good. He completed 51% against Cincinnati, 52% against Kansas City, 51% against Houston, 46% against Dallas. Receivers haven't been getting open. Edelman is a little bit banged up. He's got knee and shoulder injuries. And N'Keal Harry looks like he might be a nice player for them. I don't know if he's ready to take that next step now. Sanu is dropping passes left and right. There's really no threat in the tight end game. Lacoste is not good at all. They seem to avoid giving the ball to James White a lot. I know that he got them the early touchdown against Cincinnati this past week, but then like he just kind of disappears. Like, he's clearly their best option in the passing game, really, and yet they try to continue to throw passes to Michelle and screens to Michelle and stuff like that. And they do look like they're reeling a little bit. But I mentioned this last week. They do this every year. Like this, they do this every year. It looks a little bit different, but it's probably still the same story overall. They're still 11-3. They're still angling towards winning the division. They're going to get a home playoff game where they're very difficult to beat. They win 1 playoff game if they get the bye there, and they're in the AFC Championship against maybe Baltimore. I don't know. Or maybe the Bills. Who knows? Really, that's the most exciting thing. The most exciting thing about this video, about this week, is the Bills are in. And this is house money. That's a perfect way to put it. This is house money this week against the Patriots. You have a shot at them, at catching them in the division. And albeit it might maybe not be a great shot because of the circumstances surrounding Week 17. And maybe you play a meaningless Week 17 game. Like, that's part of my thought process too, is keep these guys healthy, stay healthy. That's like the most important thing this year. Stay healthy, or this year. It's been this year. They've stayed healthy most of the year. Ty Nseki's like the only guy on the injury report. It's crazy. That might be luck too. But training, coaches, staff, whatever, great job, everyone. Great job all around. All in all, the Patriots are still 7-point favorites. I'm going to listen to that because it's Tom Brady, because it's Bill Belichick against the Bills. And Sean McDermott hasn't beat the Patriots since he's been here. So I'm going to pick the Patriots to beat the Bills 20 to 13 on Saturday. Guys, as always, thank you for coming this far in the video. Hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter handle and YouTube username are the same. Enjoy your weekend, guys. As always, above all else, go Bills.